Okay, so you're having trouble with the graduated cylinder. Most likely, you are not reading your interval correctly. When you look at the graduated cylinder, you have to remember to figure out what you're counting by. Pick two numbers that are next to each other, like 50 and 45, and subtract them. 50 minus 45 is 5. Next, you have to count the number of spaces in between. In this case, there are 5 spaces between the 45 and the 50. That means that each little line is worth 1 milliliter. You're counting by 1 milliliters. So when you look at the graduated cylinder here, you can see that the line, the meniscus, the bottom of the curve, is 2 little lines above the 35. Since we're counting by ones, it would be 35, 36, 37. There's 37 milliliters of water in this graduated cylinder. To try a different graduated cylinder, this graduated cylinder has a different interval. In this case, if you take two numbers and subtract, for example, the 8 and the 7, 8 minus 7 is 1. There are 5 little spaces between the 8 and the 7, so that means that you need to do 1 divided by 5. Picture taking $1 and dividing it between 5 people. How much would each of you get? You would each get 20 cents. 1 divided by 5 is 0.2, or 2/10 of a milliliter. So that means every little line is worth 2/10. So here, the water comes up past the 6, and now you're going to count by 2/10 until you reach the meniscus. 6.2, 6.4, 6.6. There are 6.6 milliliters in the smaller graduated cylinder. In the larger graduated cylinder, it's harder to see the numbers on here. The numbers are counting by 50s, 250, 300, 350, 400. So if I take two numbers that are next to each other, there's 50 in between them. Now I need to figure out how many spaces there are. Between 350 and 400, there are 10 spaces. 50 divided by 10 is 5. That means each little line is worth 5. So if I start counting down here at 200, I'm going to count by 5s until I reach the meniscus. 205, 210, 215, 220, 225, 230, 235. The volume of this graduated cylinder is 235 milliliters. Go back and try again on the graduated cylinders and make sure that you're counting your intervals correctly.